Hi you guys, welcome to Dustin, the Blind Minnesotan. Today I want to talk about my favorite places to go as a blind visually impaired person in Anoka County to do my shopping. Because as a blind and visually impaired person or any other kind of disabled person out there, everyone kind of understands that we can't drive. And life for us is a little bit more difficult. So, as a blind, visually impaired person or a person with any other disability, if you live in Anoka County, what do? Because everyone that's a big influencer that the state of Minnesota promotes is like, move to St. Paul, move to Minneapolis, move to St. Paul, move to Minneapolis, move to St. Paul, move to Minneapolis. But the issue is, yeah, Minneapolis and St. Paul might have the public transportation that we need, that these big disabled influencers that are getting paid by the state of Minnesota are telling us. But me, who's not getting paid by the state of Minnesota, who's not a disabled influencer getting money from the state of Minnesota, I'm telling you real information because I'm not getting bribed by the state of Minnesota. So I kind of want to tell you about how I feel and where I go in Anoka County, why I chose Anoka County. And I chose Anoka County because living here as a disabled person is actually affordable. You can actually find places that you can actually survive off on your social security and working part-time. If you get your social security and you work part-time, living here in Anoka County is actually possible. Well, Ramsey, that be with St. Paul, is the main city, and Minneapolis, that's ahead of Hennepin, the only places where people with us that living off social security can afford is the hood, where there's prison bars on apartment windows, no local grocery stores, massive food deserts. That's what happens with most disabled people. If they follow these big influencers, they get bribed by the state of Minnesota. So that's why I chose Anoka County, because Anoka County, they still have things for disabled people to do, but their public transportation is the best because Anoka County is a way smaller county. And most people in Anoka County are not disabled, so they drive. But Anoka County still has the public bus system. They still have one, so that's why I live here. Anoka County is full of cities called Columbia Heights. Columbia Heights is between Northeast Minneapolis / U of M campus and Fridley. And then there's Hilltop. Hilltop is between Columbia Heights and Fridley. So because Columbia Heights it's such a big town compared to Hilltop, that Hilltop and Columbia Heights both smash up with Fridley. And then you have Fridley, and then you have Blaine, then you have Coon Rapids, and then you have Anoka. So now this is the kind of the goofy part about Anoka County. Okay, they have the Northtown Mall in Southern Blaine shopping area, and then they have the Coon Rapids shopping area. So they have two massive shopping areas in Anoka County that people with disabilities or people who blind and visually impaired can take advantage of. If you live in Anoka, you want to live on the 805 bus, the 850 bus, or the 825 bus. Because those buses, they'll take you from Anoka through Coon Rapids to the Northtown Mall. So if you live on the bus route that goes from downtown Anoka through southern Anoka, through Coon Rapids, and then down to the Northtown Mall, you're going to have the most benefit because your bus is going to take you to two major shopping areas. So then you're going to have, as a disabled person, if you live along those bus lines, you're going to have double the opportunity of employment. But I live in the Columbia Heights part of Anoka County. So I live along the 10 bus. And the 10 bus takes you from downtown Minneapolis, the Minneapolis Convention Center, and it goes through northeast Minneapolis along Central, and then it goes through Columbia Heights at the Columbia Heights Transit Station, and then once it hits the Columbia Heights Transit Station, the bus splits into 3 ways. If you're on the 10N bus, it will go down Central all the way to the Northtown Mall in Blaine, and then it goes that way because the 10N bus goes from Columbia Heights through Spring Lake Park and then through Fridley following Central, and then it goes to Northtown Mall that way. While the U bus goes once it hits the 50th Avenue, right where the Fridley Target is, it takes a left and it goes down 50th, and then it hits University and it goes through Fridley and Blaine down University and takes you to Northtown Mall down University. And then I have the 10H. The 10H I like to call the Target bus. It helps everyone in downtown Minneapolis and northeast Minneapolis get to the Fridley Target, because the downtown Minneapolis Target is lame. So I used to live next to that Target. So that's why I know it's lame, because I used to go to that Target. So then people in downtown Minneapolis can hop on the 10H bus, and that bus will take them right to the Fridley Target, where they can do all their shopping, and they can hop on the 10H bus and come back home. So there's like 3 kind of buses there, but so each part of Anoka County, you're gonna have different advantages. So if you live in Anoka, you want to work in Coon Rapids or the Northtown Mall in Blaine. If you're like me, who lives in Columbia Heights, I want to get a job in northeast Minneapolis, that's part of Hennepin County, or I want to get a job near the Northtown Mall in Blaine, because the northeast Minneapolis does not have a big shopping mall. They have random mom and pop businesses kind of spread out within single family homes. So yes, they do have shopping, but it's not like the shopping you get once you get out to the Northtown Mall in Blaine. Is this a different kind of shopping? So you know what I mean? So for me to get real opportunities, I have to go all the way up to the Northtown Mall in Blaine. Just to be realistic, to get real good employment opportunities as a disabled person. So as a disabled person, you have to choose. Do I want to live in a more affordable area that with my Social Security and live in a place like Anoka County, and then for the rest of my life do part-time work as a retail employee and then be comfortable? Or do I want to be a disabled person in Hennepin County or Ramsey County, where I have all this public transportation, and I can be a disabled person who works for the state of Minnesota, or the disabled person who works for the city of Minneapolis or the city of St. Paul, if you're lucky, or work for Hennepin County or Ramsey County. But you'll be working a better job, but because of your Social Security, and the cost of living down there is so expensive, you'd be living in a shitty neighborhood. So you kind of have 2 choices. I tried being one of those, because I was listening to these disabled influencers that are getting paid by the state of Minnesota. I was listening to them, move to Minneapolis, move to St. Paul, move to Minneapolis. I moved down there, and then my Social Security just was barely enough to cover my rent. And then I had to work, like I worked up to 25 hours before I started messing up my Social Security. And then, and I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I was hustling, bustling. I was working every day. When I had to say I needed a day off, I was panicked. Like, oh my God, am I able to pay my internet bill? Am I going to be able to pay more for my cell phone? Because, you know, I needed to work every day possible because of the panic. Would I be able to make my bills? Because living in downtown Minneapolis is more expensive. So then but, you know, I could say, look, I work at the Mall of America. I'm a disabled person because I work at the Mall of America. I'm so successful. So you have to pick which kind of life as a disabled person do you want. And I did it for a year. I was not happy. So I moved to Anoka County, and now I'm a disabled person here. And yes, my job is boring. I work at Bob's Produce Ranch in Fridley, and I work there 18 hours a week, and I just stack produce, make sure the produce section is clean, beautiful, keep the produce store beautiful, keep the produce section beautiful. It's a very boring job, but I like it because all my last few jobs have been busy nonstop. Definitely with Mall America, Total Wine, CVS. I mean, all my jobs are like Nordstrom Rack, Maple Grove. They were like busy because I was always cashier. But, you know, here it's kind of cool because, you know, I'm just stacking produce all day and chopping produce, putting them in containers and putting them in the deli. It's boring, but, you know, it's not but if you're a person with me who sometimes has anxiety or stress or ADHD, you know, it's one of those jobs where, you know, you're not going to get because it's slow, and you can take your time during your 7-hour shift. So I really like it. And some of the places Bob's Produce Ranch, they sell a lot of food from local farmers. So what we do is, local farmers here will sell the food they grow to Bob's Produce. So sometimes we don't have peaches, sometimes we don't have pears, sometimes, you know, we don't have some of those things, but you know, we always have some produce, cereal, ice cream to sell. And be lucky in the neighborhood I'm in. I work in Fridley. There's also Mike's Discount Foods across the street. And at least with Mike's Discount Foods, they sell things that Bob's Produce Ranch doesn't sell. So a lot of the disabled people who they will go to Mike's Discount Foods for their cereal, their cans, and that kind of canned goods and that kind of stuff. And they'll go to where I work at Bob's Produce Ranch, and they will get like their ice cream, their produce stuff, like their oranges, apples, and all that stuff that you can't get at Mike's Discount Foods. So I shop when I'm here at like four kind of stores. I go to Aldi's in Columbia Heights here a lot. I go to Cub Foods in Fridley a lot. I go to Mike's Discount Foods a lot. And then once in a while after work, I will pick something up from my work at Bob's Produce Ranch. You know, I will get some things there, and then I will go to the Fridley Walmart. And then Fridley / Blaine, because the Northtown Mall is like the Fridley / Blaine border literally goes right through the middle of the Northtown Mall. So I go to the Burlington in Fridley. I say Fridley because it's technically Fridley in my opinion, but that Burlington store at the Northtown Mall freaking lies and says, "Welcome to the Burlington of Blaine. Sorry, Burlington, your store is only in Blaine by a few feet." sorry, you're a liar. Your store, you're technically the parking lot for your business is in Fridley. So technically, liar, your store is technically in Fridley. So Burlington drives me nuts. It should be welcome to Burlington of Fridley. But you mean whatever, they sell the clothes I want for cheap, so I don't complain. So I go to Burlington at the Northtown Mall a lot because you can get clothes like this that if you went to Walmart, Target, Kohl's, Macy's, JCPenney's, Nordstrom Rack, whatever, they would charge you like $13 to $30 for just a yellow shirt like this. Well, when I go to Burlington Coat Factory or just Burlington, whatever you want to call them in your mind, I still call them Burlington Coat Factory because to me that still feels their real name. But you can get a shirt like this for $5. And it's last year's fashion, but as a guy, a yellow t-shirt is a freaking yellow t-shirt. Who cares about the logo on the brand? So I go to Burlington a lot in Blaine, but I call it Fridley in my head. And then there's a Barnes and Noble. I go to Barnes and Noble a lot. Up there, I don't go for myself because I'm visually impaired, so I read my books on my iPad or I use Audible or I use Libby, the library service. But so I use like a lot of ebooks and audiobooks for my reading. But I go to that Barnes and Noble, so when I buy myself a digital book, I buy my sister the physical version of that book because my sister likes physical books. And so then, I go there and I get her a physical copy and I give her that as a I love you, sis kind of present. So then, she can then she and me can read the same books and we can talk about it. And then there is Save A Lot over there. Save A Lot is like, when I used to work at Discount 70, how Discount 70, we would things that were returned to Target, we sold. Well, Save A Lot is the same thing. So whatever people don't want to buy from Target, Walmart, Costco, Sam's Club, or whatever, Save A Lot will buy it. So I do sometimes go to Save A Lot and I look for furniture for my place, but be lucky my place is almost furnished, so I'm really, really blessed because I'm one of those disabled people who can actually work and get Social Security, so I actually have the money to buy furniture and stuff that a lot of disabled people who do not. So I go and I get myself some furniture once in a while. There's a Savers up there. I go to their Savers. There's a Salvation Army family store. I go there because I try to buy, if I buy new, I like to buy like cheap new, like I like how Discount 70 is by my house. Or I like that's like cheap new. It's new, but the only reason why people don't want it because it was returned because it might have a little paint chip on it, or it might have little scratch marks from shipping. I like buying new furniture, but sometimes, but me buying it like secondhand new, like going to a Discount 70, doesn't bother me. Okay, it's been returned to Target because I might have a little scratch on the furniture. That does not bother me because I'm paying $10 for it instead of 35 or 40 because you're saving money and it's still new. And I'll go like Savers, the family store, Goodwill, and I'll buy used furniture and then I'll bring it to my house and then I'll pay my mom to paint it. So so I go to, if it's new, I normally buy it, that matches my colors already, so then I don't have to paint it. But that's what I kind of do. And then I go to so I go to Save A Lot, and I go to those thrift stores up there. After I kind of go to Burlington. Burlington's my first place. Oh, Dustin, without a car, how do you do all this? Well, that is a good question. So without a car, I have this I have this little shopping cart I bought. It's technically what you call the utility cart on Amazon. So what I do is so I can load the things I buy into this utility cart as I'm walking from store to store. So so when I load, but be lucky utility cart. I advise you buying like a little. My utility cart has a little like waterproof bag that goes into it. So what I do is when I go to so when I get off the 10 bus, the 10U or 10N, depends on which one I take. I normally go to Burlington first, buy some clothes, and I load it up in the bottom of my cart. Because when I go there, the cart's normally empty. And then when I go to Goodwill, Salvation Army, and the other stores, I normally leave my shopping cart behind the cash registers, because then they know I'm not stealing. So I normally walk in the store and there's a security guard right there, and he'll say, "Hey sir, can you please put your shopping cart over there?" I'm like, "Sure." And sometimes even when there's no security guard, I'll just put my shopping cart behind the cash register, so then they know I'm not stealing. And then I'll grab one of their shopping carts. And then I'll go shopping, and then I'll load up the shopping cart, I'll pay, and then I'll load my stuff with their bags and I'll always get a printed receipt, and I put it in the bag, and then I put it in my shopping cart, and I walk from store to store to store. And by the time I get my favorite stores I just listed over there, and by the time I just get to the end, my shopping cart's like a freaking hill. And then I go to Walmart at the North Town Mall for like things like toilet paper, what's it called? Paper towels. I go to Walmart for that. Or if I want, I love the Great Value brand at Walmart. So I'll purposely go to Walmart to buy like Great Value brand sodas, because I love the Great Value brand, and Great Value brand chips. And I'll go to Walmart for toilet paper, paper towels, and my snacks. Because because the produce at Walmart and the meat at Walmart are so expensive, I don't go there for Walmart anymore, because you pay so much for shitty quality. So then I go to Walmart for that kind of stuff, and then I get off the 10 bus. I walk across University with my shopping cart. This time my shopping cart's kind of halfway full. I leave my shopping cart behind the Walmart guest services. And then I take their shopping cart and I grab toilet paper and whatever, and then because I can, and then I load it up, and then then Walmart's normally my last stop. I hop on the 10 bus and I come home. And then so I shop a lot of times at the stores around the North Town Mall, because the 10 bus is easy for me to get to, because I live in the southern part of Anoka County. If you lived in the northern part of Anoka County by Anoka, or northern Coon Rapids, it's actually easier for you to go shopping in Coon Rapids, and because Coon Rapids pretty much has similar stores to what the North Town Mall does in Southern Blaine. So then instead of you coming all the way to North Town Mall, you can just do your shopping like what I do with with a utility cart / shopping cart at Coon Rapids. But the issue is I normally don't go up to Coon Rapids, because Coon Rapids doesn't have a lot of sidewalks. So then when I have my shopping cart, I'm literally walking on the side of the road in the pullover lane with my shopping cart full of stuff. So I normally don't go all the way up to Coon Rapids to shop. Whatever I can't find at the North Town Mall, I don't buy. If I go to that direction. And I like going to the Cubs and Fridley, because I go to the Cubs and Fridley to buy my canned goods, to buy my blueberry yogurt, and to buy the Cub brand soda, because I love the Walmart brand soda and I love the Cub brand soda. So then I go there and I get the Cub brand soda. Cubs also has a very good bakery for cheap, because Cubs mass produces thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of bakery items. So then I go to Cubs because I can get good bakery items for cheap. And then Cubs has a pretty good produce section. Cubs is their produce section is kind of expensive, but it's really, really good. It's very good produce, and they have salad kits or whatever. I go to Cubs, do shopping, a lot of shopping at Cubs. I love Cubs, and I used to work for Cubs in Rogers. So when I went to high school, so I know how the Cubs company works. So then, so I feel comfortable with Cubs. I like Cubs. If I had won $1 million, I would buy Cubs, and I would run Cubs the rest of my life. I love the Cubs brand. I love what Cubs represents to me. You mean as a grocery store, as an employer. You mean so then I go to Cubs, and I do that when I'm making okay money, and but some months when I have like big bills and I'm not making as much money, I will go to Aldi's and Mike's Discount Foods. Aldi's and Mike's Discount Foods are for when I'm having bad months in my life. So it'll be kind of if I had to pay a bill unexpectedly, like I went to the doctor's that month, or I had an eye appointment or a doctor's appointment. I will pay, and I have to pay for something I didn't expect. Then that month, I will go to Aldi's and I would get my produce at Aldi's, and then whatever I can't get at Aldi's, I'll take the 10U bus to Mike's Discount Foods in Fridley, and I will go and I will get food there because the Mike's Discount Foods in Fridley, they sell stuff for a really good price, but a lot of stuff they sell is non-perishable items. The only really things they sell that are perishable are milk, eggs, and the meat department, and that's really it, and the rest are non-perishable items. But the months that I'm really struggling, going between Aldi's and Fridley, that's on both 10's bus, 10U and 10N, and going to Mike's Discount Foods, that's on the U bus in Fridley, is covers me in bad months. I do technically have a Target on my route, but Target is kind of really on the bus routes. I can take the 10U or the 10H from my house, but Target is very expensive for people like me who are disabled. Like I'll still go to Target. Like, for example, if I go to Burlington and I can't find clothes that fit me or if I want, and I go to Walmart at the Northtown Mall and I can't find things I want, and I go to Savers and I can't find things I want, I go to the family store and can't find things I want, I go to Goodwill and I can't find things I want, that's when I go to Target. Target's like, okay, I tried all the thrifting options and I didn't find anything I wanted, so that's when I'll go to Target. And also, I go to Target like if my mom's visiting, my Aunt Diane's visiting, or my Aunt Susie's visiting, and they want to get things. I would take them to Target because Target is a very female oriented store. So if I take them to the Target, they will find something they probably like, compared if I took them to Burlington Coat Factory, Walmart, or to the thrift stores. So because Target's really good at making products for women that women will like because they know women spend a lot of money. So I Target, or in Target, I also go to Target for things that Walmart sometimes doesn't sell. Like when I wanted like a very nice, like kitchen cooking set, Walmart sells the redneck cooking sets, just stuff that are cheap and work. But when I bought a cooking set for my new place, I wanted a fancy cooking set. So I would go to Target, once, just to get myself like, a fancy cooking set. And then when I lived in downtown Minneapolis, because when I lived in LaSalle Plaza apartment building, My building was right next to Target, the corporate Target with the offices above it in downtown Minneapolis. So I would walk to Target for all my furniture. I literally bought shelves, you guys, when I lived in downtown, like big heavy shelves from Target, and I would walk down 9th Street. People could have robbed me because I was carrying this big heavy $50 shelf, you mean, walking home by myself. You mean someone could have came by and robbed me, but thank God, God was protecting me, you mean, and I didn't get robbed because I was carrying like $200, $300, shelves, walking from corporate Target because I can't drive to my apartment in downtown, through downtown. You mean, and so a lot of my furniture when you come to my house, it is from Target because when I first moved out by myself, and I was living downtown Minneapolis, Target was the most convenient furniture store, clothing store, you mean, in my life. But now that I live here in the suburbs, you mean, I prefer going to Walmart, Burlington, Savers, you mean, up at the Northtown Mall area to do all my shopping. So if you're disabled and you're coming to Anoka, the Columbia Heights part, or Fridley part and Hilltop part of Anoka County, and you don't have a job, and you're living in low-income housing along the 10 bus, the 10 bus is like me, I would advise you to shop at Aldi's in Columbia Heights and the Mike's Discount Foods in Fridley along the 10U bus, and get things from there, and go and get your clothes and other household things from the Savers and the discount and thrift stores up at the Northtown Mall. That's kind of the stuff I advise for you. But if you're a disabled person and you are working and you are taking the city bus, I advise you, and you live in my area, I advise you to come visit me at Bob's Produce Ranch and get some fresh, vegetables, produce, local stuff. And then whatever you can't find at my store, walk across the street, go to Mike's Discount Foods, get things at Mike's Discount Foods, and then whatever you can't find between Bob's Produce Ranch and Mike's Discount Foods, get the rest at Cubs. Because, between Mike's Discount Foods and where I work, Bob's Produce Ranch, we both together are cheaper than you going to get everything at Cubs. So, if you're a disabled person that lives on Social Security and works part-time, come visit me at Bob's Produce Ranch, get some of your locally healthy produce and healthier ice cream and all that stuff. And then whatever you don't get at our store, go to Mike's Discount Foods across the street, shop there, and then shop at Cubs, and then get all your clothing at Walmart, Burlington Coat Factory / just Burlington, Goodwill, Salvation Army, and just use a utility cart. Welcome to the Being Disabled Club, you guys. And then, but if you live in like the Anoka County, the Anoka part, you can shop in Coon Rapids if you feel safe walking on the side of the road in the pullover lanes. But if you take the city bus. But if you want some place more walkable and more accessible, just continue taking the bus, because all the buses that go from downtown Anoka through South Anoka through Coon Rapids ends at the Northtown Mall Blaine / Fridley. So so just come by, come shopping, come live, come get a job, come sir. And remember, we do have Metro Mobility too. So if you're not, we have Metro Mobility for the older people, who are disabled. We have Transit Link for the younger people who are disabled. Transit Link will pick you up from your house and drive you to your local bus station, where then you can take the city bus to go where you need to go. So we also do have Metro Mobility, and we do also have Transit Link. And then of course we have Yellow Cab, and you know what I mean. So if you're not a bus user like me, you know, you don't have to. You can still move to Anoka County, and be happy because we have Metro Mobility for the older disabled people that can't really move around independently. And then we have Transit Link for the younger disabled people my age, where Transit Link bus will come pick you up and then take you to a bus station where then you can take the bus to wherever you need to go. So, and then we also have taxis. So if Transit Link says, nope, we're busy, we can't pick you up today, you can still take a taxi, even if it's under feelings like you're cutting off your thumb. So I hope you guys have a good time watching this video. Bye-bye.